and I was introduced to her by another colleague of mine. And we immediately hit it off. And I did a class for them over at the Urban League. I think I substituted for someone. And then after that, where I was doing all my training, that particular organization closed down, and I was without a training facility. And I met her. I was at one of the Black Business Expos, and I saw her, and I said, hey, I need a place to train. She goes, hey, take out your calendar and put down a date, and let's go. And after that, we were on, and for 2 years, up until the day of her retirement, we have done some amazing things in the community. Yeah. Amazing. We made some incredible inroads. We created a mastermind program. We had workshops running like almost every month. And so she is just a force to reckon with when it comes to putting on programs. She has everything running in such order. And even if you don't know what you're doing, you do know what you're doing because she got it all in place. And so welcome, Miss Rhonda.
Well, thank you, Krista.
I'm glad that you're here. And then my next guest, I just met her last week, 2 weeks ago.
About 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago. And we were having conversation, and it was like we've known each other all our lives. And it's like, wow, okay. So we know that our camp is going to be fantastic this year because we connected just like immediately.
It's going to be amazing.
It's going to be amazing. So let me find and all my little notes here. Let me find your bio. Where are we? So Miss Rhonda, while I'm finding her bio, so tell us a little bit about you that I didn't tell already.
Oh, man, there's something about me already.
I know.
Well, I'm just really excited about Biz Camp getting started. When I left the league, I really wasn't sure if I was going to do this or not. But with the encouragement of Crystal and the great Nifty team, said we have to do this because it's not even about us. It's about pouring this information and building the entrepreneur skills in the young people in L.A. County. Even though Nifty does it internationally,
yes,
we're very interested in the success of our children here in our community.
Yes, we are. So how long have you been doing the program?
I've been a certified Nifty instructor since 2007.
Nice.
So, and at that time, I just actually had a concern for the children because the city of LA was decreasing the employment opportunities for the summer. Summer school conversations were beginning to not have so many classes. And I don't have children, but that just disturbed me.
Okay.
And so I talked to my director at the Urban League at the time, which was Dr. Renee Smith-Maddox. And I said, we have to do something about these, summer stuff, because we'll have too many young people in the street or too many sitting at home not learning anything when they have so much talent. And that just needs to be cracked open and revealed.
Yes. And
she introduced me to Estelle and Betsy way back then, and we have been on a roll ever since.
Okay. I know she reached out because one of the things you do in Nifty when you're running a camp, you reach out to everybody you know to come and volunteer.
Right.
Yes, you do.
It takes the whole village.
Yeah, it's a whole village, a whole community.
So we're very good. We do excellent at grabbing all of the village and bringing them together. And so that was my exposure. Mm-hmm. You invited me to be one of the volunteer coaches.
Okay.
And I think that was 3 years ago.
No, it's farther back.
Further back, 4 years?
Yeah, about 4.
And I had such a great time. One of my passions, in addition to everything else that I do, which is a lot of stuff, is children. Mm-hmm. And I'm very passionate about being an entrepreneur. And so to see kids that are out there building their own businesses and with the hope that, some of them actually have done such an incredible job. The young lady that just did the lemonade stand, and she just sold it for $11 billion to the Whole Food Company. Wow. And she's, I think, 11?
11,
12?
Yeah, they impressed me.
Yeah.
They're young.
And so when you look at that, young kids out there making more money than their parents have ever even thought about, and possibly never would ever get to a place. I mean, $11 million is for a business at 11. Someone to purchase that's wow. That's Facebook kind of stuff. So and so when I met the kids, and I'm like, wow, these are pretty cool little kids over here, and they're having exchanges like I have with my clients, and when I'm teaching adult entrepreneurship, and I'm thinking, wow. So then a couple years later, I start teaching, and so when they told me that the kids were going to have a business plan in 10 days, I'm like, no, they're not.
You'll be surprised.
Right, these kids are
adults that don't have them
yeah.
10 years.
In fact, I still have some adults that have participated in classes like 5-6 years ago, and they still don't have the business plan. So when they told me that, I was like, no, they are not going to have a business plan in 10 days. Mm-hmm. And not only did they have it in 10 days, they had it in 7. Mm-hmm. Because really the last 3 days are they're preparing for the competition.
And they probably had a product to present it with.
And they had a product. And so, of course, I had a class going on the very first time I taught, and a business plan class. And so when I went back, I was so hard on the adults. And they kept saying, but we're adults. We have a lot of other stuff. They're kids. Why? You guys need to hurry up. What's wrong with you? Right. So they were like, oh, my God, you're mean. You're really mean. So, but that was my experience, my first, and I've loved it. And so I'm really looking forward to it as well.
Yes.
So, Bracy, I don't have your bio, so you're going to have to tell us who you are.
Sure, of course. I guess I'm the only one that knows really who I am, right?
You're the only one that knows.
So my name is Bracy Fuentes. I'm currently the lead program associate at Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship, which is what we call in NIFTY for throughout this whole conversation. I grew up in East Los Angeles, and definitely I can relate to the under-resourced communities, just everything that the whole media talks about in those types of communities. I lived them, so I could definitely connect to those. I helped open up 2 elementary schools out in East Los Angeles. Did a lot of the operations side, did a lot of the support, and just making sure that we get students in and provide them an opportunity for high quality education. And then after that, I just recently got my master's degree from the University of Southern California in social entrepreneurship. So after graduating, or in the meantime graduating, I found NIFTY, and sort of NIFTY found me online sort of thing. And we basically started volunteering. I realized that I can use my educational background as well as my just working in schools and sort of mix that with business. And so this is a perfect fit for me to join the team and really make this really excel and provide these opportunities even to more students and young entrepreneurs in our community in Los Angeles.
Okay. It's so rewarding to work with kids.
It's amazing. I can't imagine my life not working with kids. I think they just bring so much energy out of me that I really have more patience working with young adults than I do with adults. So, yeah. Like you were mentioning, you have higher expectations for adults when students, get it.
Right. And the kids are just so they're I don't know, it's just their energy.
Yeah.
And they're like
they're fearless.
Yeah.
Too.
And they're like little sponges. Mm-hmm. And no matter what you're teaching them. And one of the things Rhonda and I did last year, we worked we did a program at Dorsey, the same program at Dorsey, and these were older kids and kids that had never ever thought about being entrepreneurs.
Exactly.
And it was such an rewarding experience because it was a little harder than what we do, because our kids are that are in a biz camp, they're different families, different encouragements and support from their community, where a lot of the children that we did this program with at Dorsey, they didn't have that. And so Rhonda and I go in, and we're just right off the back of the NIFTY camp. So we are all excited, and we're going to go in and talk to 30 kids that are just like the 25 we just that was not the case.
We had to recruit day one.
Rhonda's like, oh my God, maybe we can't do this. So when I'm asking the kids what they want to do for their businesses, and they're looking at me like I'm from planet, I don't know, Mars, and they're going, business? And I was like, okay, all right, well, we won't worry about business. What do you want to do after you get out of school? And they're like, what? And okay, what do you like to do? What is your passion? They're like,
and one of the kids said, nobody's ever asked me that.
Wow.
And they were sophomores in high school.
right.
So it was just amazing that they had no clue. They weren't accustomed to it. This was like total foreign land for us and for them.
Yeah, and the crazy thing, I think, is that there's the young spirits has so much imagination, and within those imaginations are solutions that we need to tap into and help them bring them,
help
a
them,
product, a service, or something to our
Right.
community. So yeah,
And these kids, it was like the creativity had been sucked out somewhere along the way, and so we actually had to spend our time getting them to dream. We had to first start that way, and getting them to see that there are dreams out there, and whatever they want to do, they can do that. And but it was challenging. It was challenging in the beginning, but at the end, one of the things that every child that was left in the class, they actually got up and did their 3-minute pitch or 3-second pitch, and they were so excited. They actually had business concepts. We never got to the creating a plan, but they did have concepts, and they were able to take the things that they wanted to do. There was 2 that stuck out to me. Was this one young man, he told me he wanted to build things. So I asked him, what do you want to build? I said, he says, I don't know, houses and buildings and stuff. I said, so do you want to be the architect or do you want to be the contractor? And he's like, I don't know what an architect is. And what do they do? So I told him that they drew up the plans. He's like, that might be nice. So I brought in a tabletop book that I have from Paul Williams, which is a black architect. And, oh, wow, I think he came out in the 1901 or something of that nature. In fact, he was one of the founding fathers of Broadway Federal Bank. And so I brought the book to the class and I let him look through it. And Paul Williams had built First AME Church and the airport. There's some things that he did at the, but all over the city and all over the world he actually had done. And so when he saw that he could build a church, he goes, I can build a church and be a preacher? Oh, and I said, yeah, you can. And so he was really, really excited. And then there was 2 twin boys, they were brothers, that were the soccer players. And so once we realized that they could play soccer professionally, but afterwards, then they could have their own equipment company, they could have their own T-shirt company, they could have their shoe line, and be physical therapists. Oh, they were really excited after that. And so that was probably the most rewarding thing, that we helped them dream. Yeah. And I think that's what this program, what Nifty and any entrepreneur program is, helping kids dream.
Yeah.
And dream big.
Yes.
And that's what we do. And so we're going to talk a little bit more about that. Again, this is the Business Zone with Gilbert and Crystal, and we're going to go to break. And we'd love to have you call in after we get into our conversation. The number is 323-293-3375. So we are going to take a break at the moment, and we'll be back shortly. Hello, we're back from our break, and we want to thank you all for supporting the Business Zone, our new radio show designed to help small businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. With your listenership, we have reached almost 10,000 viewers on Facebook and listeners in actually 3 days, and it was our very first show. So
congratulations!
We are so excited about that. So just imagine, after we've been here for a month. Wow! So we broadcast live stream every Friday afternoon from 3 to 5, and you can find us on morrismedialive.com. And we're going to be talking about all aspects of business, getting our small businesses contract ready, bank loan ready, and business ready. One of the things as a business coach that I have found that our entrepreneurs tend to fall into business. The infrastructure is never put in place, and it goes along fine until there's a crisis like a economy crash, and then they realize that wow, we don't know where to go from here, or we don't know how to move up or here, or how to scale up. And one of the things that Rhonda did, as well as the Nifty program, she ran the entrepreneurial program at the Los Angeles Urban League, and so that was the capacity that she and I worked in. And we've had many coaching sessions with number of businesses. And would you say that was the infrastructure is the biggest issue?
Getting it started, laying a solid foundation, because so many of them want to run the business, but they don't have a foundation. They want to make the product. They want to provide the service, but the operations of the organization is what needs to be tightened up in a great kind of way.
Yeah, in a great kind of way. and we really found that to be the case when they started the train project, the Metro train project on the Crenshaw corridor. So many of the businesses that were already hanging on by a thread, by the time they got to the train and they start construction in front of their businesses, that thread was broke.
Yes, it was.
And so she also worked with, they had a program, the Urban League has a program over there called the Business Solutions Center. And so she worked with a number of the businesses up and down the corridor, helping them reach and have access to the tools and the resources that we could bring to them. Want to talk on that?
Actually, we're trying to get them to think differently, because they're so dependent upon who's going to walk in the door, but they have not spent marketing dollars.
Yes.
They have not tapped in. I was amazed at how many did not have email. So they don't have social media. They don't have other ways. They're not running specials to get customers in their door. They haven't started thinking about creative ways of how can I deliver the product to them? If they can't get to me, can I get to them? Can I increase my delivery? What is it that we can do to stay in business? I don't have to be dependent upon the fact that Metro just closed the street, so people can't even get to my facility, and whether or not I'm able to feed my family. So it's not just being in business and making a profit, but can I feed my family?
Right, exactly. And so many of them cannot feed their family, or they're barely feeding their family. And it's almost as if the revenue that they're generating is really like a paycheck, because it's not creating any profit that's going back into the business. It's going to the bare necessities of the business, and then the bare necessities at their home. And so we spent endless hours helping them see and change the mindset. And that's what has to happen with a lot of minority-owned businesses. We have to think bigger and broader. And that's what's so amazing about the Nifty program, because the kids come in with these grand ideas and wonderful ideas, and we're like, yeah, go for it.
Yep.
Yeah, we don't care. Yeah, you want to build a spaceship to the moon? Okay, we will help you build this spaceship. But our adult business owners need that same enthusiasm that the kids have. That wow, when I think of a business, I don't think of a small business. I think of a business, a business that has legs and arms and that can grow into multi-million dollars. And so that's a challenge on the adult side. But on the kids side, that's a total different thing. But we have such a great time. So, Rhonda, tell me, what was the overall experience for you when you first started working with Nifty?
Wow. Overall, when I first started, I didn't have structure. I had support, but I could do it any way I wanted. So when we started with a 4-week program.
Okay.
And we recruited young people, and it was a matter of whosoever will, let them come. So if you're not in summer school and you're available and you can be here every day, because I put some requirements on it. They had to be business professional. They had to not require babysitting. And they had to have the drive and be willing to do the work. Just be excited about doing something. It couldn't be a bump on a log and just sit in the class. No, that wasn't going to work. So in 4 weeks, we were able to, and they didn't have to have an idea before they arrived. We would help build it, figure out in day one. We'd help them identify something that they might be interested in, and then build from there.
Yeah.
And so we ended up having field trips. We go to the Junior Achievement Finance Park every year, and that within itself is just a blessing to be able to add personal budgeting to the business budgeting and expense reports and all that kind of stuff to their plan. And then we always visit a company. We take a walking tour.
Yes.
So, and in the walking tour, basically, they're looking to see whatever my business is, what's in this neighborhood, what's not in this neighborhood, and then would my business fit in this neighborhood. And we usually will walk to a neighborhood restaurant and have lunch. And the last couple of years, we've been having lunch with Greg Doolin.
Yes, we have.
And then Greg would take some time. The owner of the restaurant would then take time and talk to them about how they got in business and some ups and downs of challenges that they have and that they've experienced in it. So it's just marvelous.
Right, and I was at Greg Doolin's restaurant, which is on Crenshaw, and I believe 43rd, somewhere around in that area. It's a soul food restaurant that has been in the community for well over 30 years. 48. And his father opened up Doolin's. I think it started with Aunt Kizzy's back porch, which was in the marina. And then they have 3 locations now. They have Adolph's that's on Manchester. And then they have Greg's Place, Doolin's Restaurant and Catering Services, that's on 48th. And then they have one on Manchester by Crenshaw.
Yes.
That's one of their locations. And I hear he's maybe one of the newer restaurants that's going to be in the Lamert Park Village.
Okay,
yeah,
awesome.
He's working on some stuff there too. So I just saw him last week, and he's pretty excited. But he really, when we talk about the Nifty program, he's like, "Are the kids coming back? Are the kids coming back?" And he loves having the kids there. And then for those that have never been to Doolin's or never ever experienced soul food, I remember Estelle Reyes. She's like, "Oh my God, this is good food." And the classes are made up of children from all ethnicities. So
right.
a lot of them had not had soul food, and so they all really truly enjoyed themselves.
Fantastic. I look forward to that.
Yeah, so that's a fun thing. So, Bracy, can you tell us a little bit about the other programs and how the programs are structured for the kids?
Right. Yes. So Network for Teaching Entrepreneurship has several programs during the school year. We have Exploring Careers, where we basically take the students' ideas, have them do a little research, and then sort of maybe even become like an MVP type of thing, your most valuable product. On the Exploring Career, we hold off on the financial piece, so it's more of an introductory to the Nifty program. And then from there, we do Owning Your Own Future, which is the bread and butter of Nifty, and we walk them from ideation to creation to financials to marketing. So it touches on all the entire business plan concepts, and to the point where we then encourage them to start launching their businesses. So we encourage them to do their MVPs, multiple prototypes. They can pivot from there. So there are definitely a lot of opportunities to just with the entire curriculum. And then we have a startup tech. So it's mostly how do we create an app. It would be an example. So how do we go into and penetrate into the technology world when you have an idea with technology. So those are the 3 main components of Nifty. We also have our summer program. So VizCamp is funded by a city foundation. So VizCamp, we've been talking about it over this conversation. And then the one that we're currently operating in conjunction is the Startup Summer. So Startup Summer, we're partnered with USC right now, so we're hosting the program there. And it's basically a program where if a student has already taken the NIFTY curriculum, we choose 20 of the top applicants to invite them over for the summer, put them through the boot camp summer program, and then the whole approach to this program is for them to launch their idea at the end of the program. So we also provide mentors to come in. So we have a lot of partnership with mentors to sort of guide them in their industries. And so,
Okay.
we have about.
How many children do actually come through the program throughout the year?
Yes. So this year we hit around over 1,800 students. Young entrepreneurs with at 24 different schools and working with over 30 teachers. This coming school year, we're forecasting to work with 2,300 students.
Wow.
And so then once the students complete the NIFTY program, they become alumni. So then we provide them through our partnership some alumni opportunities like scholarships for them to pursue their ideas after they've sort of exited the program.
And what is the overall age for the schools? Because I know what our overall age is, but what is the overall age for those that are in the school system? What grade?
The overall age is mostly high school, between 15 and 18 years old. We are inside middle schools as well. So we have teachers who live and breathe NIFTY, and they really break it down at the middle school level. They don't dumb it down. They just break it down so that they can understand certain concepts, and so the students get to, pitch their ideas. A lot of the NIFTY Owning Your Future then sort of puts you into classroom competitions, and so from there they get pushed on to semi-regional competitions in Los Angeles across all schools, and then from those top finalists they get invited to the regional, and then from those winners they go to the nationals all the way to New York. So this year our national finalists are going to be competing for $25,000 so that they can invest in their own company and their ventures.
Now, are there many students that have, after they finished high school, that they actually are running their own businesses or went to college and running their businesses while they're in college?
Yes, we do have some students who are profiting as they go to college. And so I think at that point they start trying to figure out how to do college and do time management. I think that's where they start struggling with the time. Mm-hmm. Like, how do I implement my business, get this running and keep it running, and then also focus on school. So,
and this program is nationwide?
This program is nation and globally wide. Yes.
Okay. What countries are you in?
Yikes. I want to say we're in
China.
We're in China. China. I know we're
Australia.
Yeah, Australia.
Okay.
Yeah, they're global partners.
Partners. Yeah. Fantastic. Mm-hmm. So, Rhonda, can you tell them, because this is for the parents and the kids that have come through the program, what our requirements are for BizCamp for the kids?
For this year, BizCamp is was it 13? I think it's 13 to 18. Mm-hmm. And there's an application, and actually the orientation is tomorrow. I'm sorry, I'm jumping into that right away because there are still just a couple of spots still available, but orientation is tomorrow. They just need to have a drive to want to do something, whether they enjoy the ideal young person would be the one that's trying to sell candy at school, the one who wants to make a pet rock, the one who wants an app, or say they're always trying to figure out how to get the things their parents can't afford to give them.
Right.
So that's the ideal young person because they have drive.
Right.
Because sometimes you're having a hard time. What does drive look like? But that's the ideal young person. So I know in years past, it won't happen this year, but a couple of years ago, we actually had a 7-year-old.
Wow.
In the class. It was the age was from 7 to 18. Wow. And the reason that the 7-year-old got in the class was because we were on a field trip and they were talking about their hot dog business that they were running with their cousin in Las Vegas.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And they just happened to be in LA for the summer. And I said, well, who's teaching you? Oh, we just do this, this, and this. And he had the concept. So I said, well, if we could stay with that, I would let him in. But this year we don't have space for a 7-year-old. So, because the curriculum, what's good about the curriculum is while there is a book, the goal is that the instructors bring the book alive.
Exactly.
So that's why various ages can be in the room and still everyone be successful, because even that the youngest person in the room still has to do their presentation. They still have to do public speaking every day. They have to come business casual. You know, they have to pay attention. We have guest speakers. Other entrepreneurs come in and share. We have business plan coaches come in and sit one-on-one with the young people, and we still need more coaches.
So,
yes.
Okay. So you guys hear that out there in
We're
listening
always going to
land.
need coaches.
We need coaches. We need volunteers. The program starts July 25th.
Yes.
And it goes on to August 5th. And the kids start. We're there at 8:00 in the morning. Class starts at 9:00. They are fed breakfast, lunch, and snacks. We have 2 field trips. We're going to the Junior Achievement, and we're going to a studio.
A production studio.
And you also have a sales day.
And a sales day. We have sales day. We have a wholesale trip.
We got a wholesale trip downtown, and then on the Saturday, July 30th, you can come out and you can buy the products that the kids are selling, and because they need a profit, and then we're investing in them, and they got to pay their investment back that Saturday. And so we want you to come out to the Los Angeles Urban League at 3450 Mount Vernon Avenue Drive in Los Angeles, California. It's right there in the back of on the mound, the sales mound, and they're going to be selling their products. They're going to be pitching their product. By that time, they will have learned to market their product. They will learn pricing their product, packaging, and even collaborating with one another, because they have found that they have to combine sometimes their investment amount in order to buy certain products, and then being able to reach. So, and what we want is to have a large number of people coming by that Saturday afternoon. It starts at
10. It's only 10 to 12:30.
10 to 12:30. Come by, buy some of their product. Now, guys, I'm giving up tennis for this, so I know y'all can come out, because I don't give up tennis for too many things. But for the kids, I'm going to give up my Saturday morning tennis training and come out with them. So we're going to ask that you guys come out as well and support the kids, because you will be amazed at some of the things we've had in the past. Artists, we've had I think the young man that won last year, a mobile app, Elijah, what's his last name? Jackson? No? Job. He created a mobile app, Hoop Dreams, where if you're looking for a basketball game anywhere in the city, then you can go on the app and put in your criteria, and it'll tell you who's playing, what type of court it is, and whether it's a rec center and everything. So that was what he created. I think we've had a lot of social enterprise businesses. The young lady with the T-shirts that was selling to feed the children.
Exactly.
And wherever. And then who else did we have that was kind of exciting?
Mario.
Oh, Mario the magician. He actually has been performing since he was 7.
Yes.
Yeah, and he's now 16, 17 years old. So he's a veteran entrepreneur at 17 or 16, but he incredible, very talented, very, very talented. They've had product lines. Some of them were already in business, and then some of them developed their business, their concept right there in the classroom, and they are truly intense. It's all day long, being instruction, and then they have to take the application. We have games that actually they're creating inventions. Yes. They are doing a marketing campaign. Then they get up in front of the class. And
very hands-on.
Very hands-on. So they're learning to speak and to pitch their businesses.
Right. So then it's not just how do you calculate where to get my product, but it's about your presentation skills as well, and how you in building relationships. Like, you can't do this by yourself without actually getting out there, having that conversation with someone and seeing where that's going to connect you. But it's just not just the business plan skills, like presentation, communication skills, and how do you sell yourself? Because a lot of the businesses, a lot of ventures, I want to say investors, invest in the people. So how do you present yourself up there with your
exactly.
idea?
And I can recall a couple of kids when we were in the program, so quiet when they first came in. You could barely hear them. What's your... It's like, can you speak up, child? Can you speak up? And then, but by the time the end of the week, boy, these big booming voices and the competition day. And you guys talk on the? Can you talk on the competition day?
It is electric.
Yes,
because these young people who didn't think they could. It has been revealed their confidence is there. They're nervous, and then yet they're encouraging one another to do well because they realize that even if they don't win the monetary prize, that they all have come a long way, and it's a magic day. Magic day.
Yeah, they impress me. I don't think I can ever do that. I tried, and it's like they go far and beyond like anybody's expectations. I think their own expectations, and they go up there, they're fearless, and they own it. You know, they really come to a point where they start owning their voice and really projecting it.
And we actually have three. Each room has 3 judges, 3 entrepreneurs that come out that have not seen anything about their product. So this is real. It's not somebody's the teacher sitting in. It's not Urban League staff just coming along. Come on in here and let's judge these kids. No,
to give them a grade. It's nothing like that.
No, right.
They're really presenting
rubric,
because you just never know if this is the next launch to the next level of their life.
Exactly.
Right, and I've had young people graduate from college and call me back and say, "Do you realize that what you taught me, I learned it in college. I refreshed it in college, and now I'm really thinking about that business, but doing a different business, not necessarily the one I started then, because a serial entrepreneur usually goes through 6 different businesses anyway in their lifetime.
We do, and even I think one of the one of the biz camps I worked at, one of the kids came back to volunteer. A couple of kids have come back.
Jordan Williams, who's now at Tougaloo University, and in Mississippi, and he's actually in town doing a comedy show tonight.
Oh, wow.
So he's really building his comedy business.
Okay, so parents, if you're out there and you are looking, you have that entrepreneurial spirit child that's been wanting to have their own business and you don't know how to guide them and there's no resources, you want to call us and at 323-293-3375 and find out, so you can find out how you can be part of and get your child involved. The orientation is tomorrow
at 10
o'clock at the Los Angeles Urban League, which is at 3450 Mount Vernon Drive in Los Angeles. So at 10 o'clock, you can come out and find about the program, sign your children up. Oh, and the best part, we didn't even say that. It is free. Oh, yeah. So here's a 10-day camp for your children that is absolutely free, and they're fed, and they're entertained, and they're educated. And early on the other side of it, they actually could have you working for them. Okay, because that has happened quite a few times. So we call in, and actually, if you're interested in coming out, you can call Bonnie Thomas Jeter.
No, let me just give you this number. What's the number? 424-258-5433.
Okay.
The number again is 424-258-5433, and that's my number, and I can be able to answer all your questions.
And that is Rhonda Santerford. So if you have questions on how you can get your child involved in the camp that's on January 25th through July 25th through August 5th, then please call in. And any of you out there that have a passion and are very good at what you do and really know that you want to be there to help a child reach their goals and their dreams, please, we need volunteers. We need coaches.
Yes.
We need judges. It's really cool when a kid can look up and see that someone that looks like them is there coaching them. We also, in the past couple of years, have had interns from Ernst & Young, the financial wizards, and the kids are just amazing.
They're an amazing partnership.
Amazing partnership.
And they're coming back, too.
They're coming back.
Yes,
Good.
they're coming back.
And so we just have a really good time at that camp, even though it's a lot of hard work and it's 8 o'clock in the morning.
And it's so worth it.
And it's so worth it. And it's to 5 o'clock. And we have 25 kids, and we become their parents. And during that time, because we've actually had some personal, we develop a relationship with the kids.
Yes.
And so they're coming to have conversation with you to
Yes.
help guide them. So we've had a number of them. So we're going to go to break. This is the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. And we're going to take a break. And when we come back, now we're going to, these wonderful young people that were part of the program, part of Biz Camp, the last couple of summers, they're going to come and tell us about their experience.